philosophical debates are about ready to be over. The new numbers, unemployment numbers, have come out, and it is breathtaking to see. 36 million people in the last 2 months. I never thought I would see a number like that in my lifetime. And it gives you a great deal of pause. And those of us who have an income are more and more thankful every day for it, and are much less willing to do anything at all to risk losing it. Because in this environment, the chances of getting re-employed, especially someone my age, are almost zero. But what advice can I give my audience? People come to me and say, you have all these great ideas, McKee, but do they have any real teeth to them? What can we do to actually put any of this into motion? There has been a push, a call that I've been seeing throughout my comments about, I wish we would just quit dancing around the issue and just let what's going to eventually happen sooner rather than later. I don't think anyone can really now make any believable argument that we are a united country. There is a deep divide in culture and in belief system and in the strategy for the future, what people think we should do going forward. And those two camps aren't going to meet. That's been the brewing reality for a long time. Now, once again, let me reiterate something. I cannot, absolutely, under any circumstances, here, take any risk at getting completely demonetized or kicked off the platform completely. Cannot do that. So I'm going to have to be very careful how I say this. I do have what I believe to be the beginnings of a solution. Will it fix things for everyone tomorrow? No. Will it fix everything for everyone a month from now? Probably not. I've made the allegation we are no longer a republic. We have leaders, this one, the previous one, the one before that rule by executive order. And there's one group of people that cheers for one and another group of people that cheers for the other. But it was never meant to be that way, that a man simply walk into a room, pull out a piece of paper, write how things are going to be now, and then have it be done. That's a pharaoh. Many people forget the part of the story after Aaron and Moses came to Pharaoh. He said, fine, if your God is so powerful, don't give the people straw to make bricks. Let them gather their own, but they still must make the same amount of bricks for Egypt. See, nobody is really talking about withdrawing the income tax, are they? No one is talking about cutting income tax rates. They're talking about sending you money and sending you checks. But have you heard anyone say, don't give Pharaoh his cut? Of course not. This is the same thing. This is where both of those sides agree. Both the left bird, the right-wing bird, they both agree that the people are in service to the government, not the other way around. So this is, and I just want to show you my source here, 36 million workers filed for unemployment benefits in the last 2 months. That's as of 38 minutes ago of when I'm making this video. People here in the South have been largely demonized for a long time, especially in this particular case. They've laughed at us We have a different culture. Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, some parts of the state of Virginia, and South see the world very differently. There's never going to be a point where we convince anyone north of that line that our way of thinking and believing is right. And the converse is true too. We just have to accept that. Anything else is just putting off the inevitable. Top-down governance doesn't work. Even with, quote unquote, your guy in charge, the guy who's currently the president, he's been able to get virtually none of his agenda put forth because of the continual opposition. And if things were to flip, it would go the other way too. This back and forth every 8 years is just spinning our wheels. Anyone who's my age and older can see this now, can remember as adults Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, another Bush, Obama, Trump, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Meanwhile, we continue to suffer. There is a way to put this to bed and be done with it. We need to take a different strategy here in the South. We need to do whatever we can do to install the weakest possible human being on the planet in D.C. No more is there a greater embodiment of a beta male, weak leader than Joe Biden. And that's why, if you want to, I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Trump. I'm not completely against everything he's done. But give him a hero's welcome back to Mar-a-Lago. And say thank you for trying, if that's what you really believe he's done. This guy might not be able in 4 years to run again, and they might put up somebody much more dangerous than this guy. He is an impotent, incompetent leader. That's why you should vote for him. We have shown clearly, and nobody can deny this, that the governor of your state has a lot more power and control over your happiness and your well-being than the president does. Cases in point, Michigan versus Florida. Michigan versus Florida. Look what Governor Whitmer did to Michigan. Look what Governor DeSantis has allowed to happen in Florida. We're almost normal here. The people of Michigan are on the edge of the abyss. What does this show? What it shows is that D.C. needs to be rendered impotent as much as it is humanly possible to do. That's why no matter how weak the candidate is, that's their best qualification. Biden has been around that swamp for my entire life, basically. He is a no damage, steady Eddie, C- student. He will never be able to stand up to powerful governors like Governor Kemp in Georgia, like Governor DeSantis down here, Governor Abbott in Texas. Strong Southern governors will be able to throw this guy off and say, not for our state. Not going to happen. This is the way we're going to go. All this guy is going to want is the status quo. And let him have his accolade. We need to wash our hands of DC. We need to stop wishing and hoping and wondering and pining for some conservative, libertarian, Christian leader to take power up there and bring us back and make America great again. That's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen because there are as many people or more on the other side of that issue. What they perceive to be American greatness has nothing to do with what we perceive to be American greatness. Their culture and our culture are two different things. And there was a man who lived long ago who realized this because he tried to create the life very close to what we would see as ideal. La América es ingobernable. Para nosotros, el que sirve una revolución hará en el mar. La única cosa que se puede hacer en América es emigrar. This is Simon Bolivar. Basically, America is ungovernable. Those who serve the revolution plow the sea. All one can do is emigrate. This was a moment of despair for this man, who has inspired so many. Because it is a culture issue. People ask me for solutions. Humbly, as a man, this is mine. I live in Florida for a very specific reason. And I have made a promise, a vow, an oath that I will never cross the Mason-Dixon ever again. Ever. For any reason. This is my home. This is where I'm going to die. This is the last vestige, the last vanguard of freedom, at least here in North America. So if you are in a place other than this, remember, once you've lost everything, you're free to do anything. Once you have lost everything, you're free to do anything. So come to the South. If you're in one of those regions to the north, where your governor is still seeing you as some peasant, some servant for them, that can be flipped on and off like a light switch, where they don't respect your humanity, your dignity, your personal sovereignty. Come to the South. Come live under actual, proper governance. Tennessee, North Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma. There are some places out west that believe this as well, but honestly, for jobs, if you need a job, if you need a place to work, it might not be ideal. It might not be what you're leaving behind, but what you're gaining is immeasurable. This would be my solution. Wash your hands of DC completely. And let them have their top-down tyranny. And live under a strong governor that can stand up to that. Because the more good, decent, honorable Christian people we get living down here, the more powerful we become as a force in governance. And I kind of outlined that in the last video. The more representation we will have. And as people begin to flee that silliness, like they have been in California, like they have been up north, all of a sudden, the shift will come not from the top down, but from the bottom up. And then there will be nothing DC can do to stop that. See, this is what I live under every day. See, there is no hope of unemployment for me. If they decide tomorrow to flip the switch on my channel, it's over. It's done. So I can't contradict in any way, shape, or form what the CEO of this private platform says. Nor would any sane American, especially in the current context, take a risk on losing their income simply by saying something or not saying something. 36 million people right now wish they had a job that they could pay the bills with. And if they did, and the only caveat they had was that they had to zip it about certain things while on the job, they would do so. And they would be quiet and they would pick up their check. So don't think I'm not with you on a lot of this. Just understand the position that I'm in. There's things I just cannot say. Things I cannot talk about. Is it ideal? Is it great? Is it wonderful? No, it isn't. It's a lot like this in the military, to be truthful. You learn to shut up then, too. Like, share, subscribe.